Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Bethesda Unpatched. This is episode 3. I am Joe the Wigit, and I am joined by the man himself, the epic, ever awesome space trucker extraordinaire. And I was going to say something else, but I completely lost it because I did not write it down. Like I was fully intending to write it down.
I feel like
Mr. Kilo.
I feel like I thought that was good. That was a lot. That was good ego boost. I appreciate that.
I got to get you going, ready for the show, man.
Yeah, dude, I'm hyped. I'm ready for tonight.
We do have a guest tonight, and I only know him as Wolf, but I'm going to let my co-host my co-host Kilo introduce him because I can talk.
Yeah, podcast curse, man. Yeah, I would like to introduce my friend DM Wolfe. I've known for a few years now, and we met on TikTok. Actually, we met in the D&D or on D&D Talk, as it's called.
Nice.
And we hit it off. It's actually funny because a lot of people thought we hated each other because we both did OCs. We did like the role playing thing on TikTok, and we played opposing forces. And and then he's like, "Hey, running a Fallout campaign. Who wants in?"
Which is why the main reason he's joining us tonight, actually.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because those of you
I'm very happy to be here, by the way. So thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah, it's always great to
have.
I
will say, as far as the TikTok, sorry, not to cut you off, but the TikTok thing was great because at the time we were basically playing into like the whole Strahd thing. There was a whole masquerade that was going on, and Kilo's group was like the leader of like the I forget what they were called. It was the Wolves of something or something Wolves.
Wolves of Cyanine.
Wolves of Cyanine. That's it. Yep. And so they were the opposing forces to my Strahd, which I actually got roped into playing on a one-off, and then just kind of spiraled out from there.
Yep. So
we had a great time.
We did, and we became friends, and he wanted to start a Fallout campaign. We are doing a little experiment tonight. We are experimenting a little bit with video, just kind of seeing how it's going. So I'm going to show this. This is the Fallout by Modephius.
He's showing the guide for it, and I've never even known that existed. Vault 111.
Oh
yeah.
Okay,
dude, it's amazing. It's an amazing game. It really is. Probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite role-playing game currently. I'm not going to go too far into like the whole political side of things with D&D talk and all of that in general, but
yeah, we have two main rules on this show: no religion talk and no political talk.
Hey, no worries. All
everything else is fair game.
I was going to say after everything that went down with WotC and Hasbro, I just kind of swore off D&D, and I've been picking up other systems since, and I fell in love with Fallout because I've been in love with the world since my first Fallout game I played was New Vegas, and I just fell in love with it from there.
All right. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in Fallout 76 this week. I'll get into that a little bit later. I spent a lot of time in it. I know Kilo spent some more time with his ships and doing some stuff in Starfield, so I know a lot of our listeners are really into that game.
Yep.
And of course, we're going to have
a couple of other things about that, but yeah,
we got a lot in the news tonight. A lot of things going on. Some articles that you're going to have to take with a grain of salt, but they're interesting enough to talk about. And then if we have time, we definitely got a Hey Bethesda. And if we got time tonight, we'll do it around Discord. So we're going to just go for it and see what happens, like always. But I just want to get right into our main topic tonight. The fascinating thing of this D&D game. So it's mostly going to be you two having the floor. I'll comment where I can, but I am a seasoned D&D player. I've only played D&D Pathfinder in the system that I developed with some of my fellow game designer friends. Called Naiad, not your average dungeon, but that's neither here or there. But I've never heard of the Fallout, never even knew it existed, so it's mostly your guys' floor.
I had no idea, and I got a little bit of shout out to Modephius. Some of the different systems that they've come up with, not systems, but this system, the 2D20, first of all, is entirely intuitive. Supports combat and roleplay well, but they got a Star Trek one They got one for Discworld, if anybody's familiar with that series. There's also this is not the only Bethesda title on Modephius's catalog. There's also Dishonored. They have a 2D20 game for Dishonored as well.
I have heard that one, so I don't know why I haven't heard of Fallout.
I think Lord of the Rings on. They got a whole bunch of different stuff. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump right in here, and we're gonna get to Wolf. And Wolf, the first question I ask everybody on the show is, what's your favorite Bethesda title?
Oh, hands down, Fallout.
But which one?
Hands down.
Okay.
Any of them.
Oh, you can't do a cop-out answer. Come on.
No, in all honesty, like my love, my baby is always going to be Fallout New Vegas.
Sure.
It was quite literally my first Fallout game. I fell in love with it from there. I've played the original games. I've played Fallout 3. I've played 4. I've gone through pretty much every system imaginable with it, and there's something so compelling about the story of New Vegas for me personally, because it's with the rest of the games, it's always kind of something nebulous that you start out with, right? You've got the water chip failing. You've got your father disappearing on you. You've got your son being stolen away from you. Like all of these kind of more nebulous things that are external forces kind of compelling the story forward. Whereas with New Vegas, it literally starts with the Courier 6 being shot in the head and left for dead in the desert.
Yeah.
Right? This isn't some external force playing on your character. You're not being sent out to go and find a missing child or some piece of old world tech. This is literally somebody pulled you in, tied your hands up, knelt you down, and put a gun to your head and pulled the trigger.
Right.
Yeah. One of the things I've heard, since we're on the topic of Fallout, which has been my baby the last week, I got a news article that I'm interested in your opinion on later, Wolf. This is going to be pretty cool. But one of the things about Fallout that they're talking about and rumoring a lot about is Fallout 5. And they're saying that the setting, everyone's pretty sure, is going to be set in San Francisco.
I've heard that. I don't know how I feel about that one just yet, and it's still to be seen. There's definitely a lot of places in the world that we haven't explored as much. Brotherhood Tactics, I think, is the one that probably took the most intercontinental route for it, as far as like the games go, where you're traveling through multiple states and you're kind of seeing how things played out.
It was based in Chicago, wasn't it? I thought that's where part of the game takes place, is in Chicago, or
where I believe that's where part of it takes place. Yeah, but you're literally traveling from I think you start out in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken, and you go towards like Indiana or Oregon or Washington or something further out west, because you're trying to find like the Brotherhood chapter that you're basically trying to get back to like the main source of civilization at the time. And even then, I mean, most of that's just kind of like glancing travel through. It doesn't really stop and actually explore a lot of the areas. But even with that, I mean, you take New Vegas is in the Mojave Desert area, literally around Las Vegas. 4 takes place in and around Boston. 3 takes place around DC.
76 is Appalachia.
76 is Appalachia. You've got Fallout 1 and 2 take place on the West Coast around like California
LA.
area.
I was going to say LA, wasn't it? Right around that area?
Yeah, LA is the hub.
So there's a lot of areas to be explored. And if they want to go with San Francisco, there's a lot of great things that they can kind of play with that. I was actually really looking forward to, and I don't know if they've scrapped the project or not, was in
London.
That's already out. That's Fallout 4.
That's out.
Yeah, Fallout 4.
Right. Well, there was a rumor, and again, just I don't know how substantial this is offhand, or if I've missed something in the meantime. But I remember that Bethesda was actually recruiting the modders from that project, and they were talking about building out an actual game off of that mod and showing off like a full scale Bethesda game for it.
That's Bethesda's good for that.
Yeah,
they'll take them modders and put them to work.
Absolutely.
All right.
But yeah, no, San Francisco could absolutely be.
Well, they were saying that they were hinting a lot towards that at the end of Fallout 4. I never beat Fallout 4, so I don't know from experience, but
Kellogg mentions San Francisco. That's where he's from. Kellogg being he's the antagonist that takes your kid, basically. In the spoiler alert for Fallout 4, he's the guy that basically kidnaps your kid in Fallout 4. You have to track him down, and through that, you have to go through his memories. And he talks about San Francisco, which is where he was born and raised.
Yeah. Fascinating.
I mean, I do know. I had to go back and look this up because I wanted to make sure I was right before I said anything. But I know that San Francisco is actually an area that you explore in Fallout 2.
Oh, okay.
It's a portion of the Arroyo. So it depends on how they're going to play that one out. But they've already kind of got a little bit of lore established with it that they could go back and kind of build on that and go from there as well.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the TV series going to be most likely set in New Vegas?
Yeah.
On next season.
I was so hyped when I saw the end of that.
Oh, dude. So the thing with that, and pardon, I might go off on a slight tangent here for just a split second.
Oh, no.
But
we do. Go for it.
What a pity. What a
pity. But with Fallout New Vegas, they've literally said there is no canon ending. Right?
Right.
So it doesn't matter if you side with House, if you side with, the NCR, with Caesar's Legion, if you go your own route, it doesn't matter. They're all canon because none of them are. So if they're leaning into that with the show and it takes place after the events of Fallout New Vegas, that'll be an interesting kind of thing to see because that'll give us a more canonical ending with how things wrapped up. And I have a slight prediction to this, if I may, and that's only because they introduced him in season 1 was Robert House. So it has this idea in my head that he is actually going to be still in power, and that ending with House is actually going to be the canonical ending.
Right. I mean, that's entirely possible.
Yeah.
Only time will tell. Let's get into this tabletop game because I'm curious.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you end up with Fallout 2D20? How'd you find it? How'd it come to your attention?
We were doing. So I stream on my own channel. Minor plug to Storytable Productions. And I was doing what we call the creator spotlights. And so with different creators, we end up talking about different role-playing games and things that they'd mentioned. And somebody brought up Modephius. And I'd never heard of Modephius before. I'd never explored their games. And somebody, because everybody knows that I have a huge love of Fallout. It's not a secret by any stretch. Had mentioned, hey, did you know that there's a tabletop game for it? I'm like, I've never heard of this before. What are you talking about? Show me now. I need to have this in my life, like now. And so I started looking into it, and I was like, dude, this is phenomenally made, right? This is so well done all the way around. Like, and obviously, like, there are some minor tweaks here and there that could be changed with like little bits of verbiage of how certain things are kind of laid out, like level wise and stat wise. But aside from that, it gives you so much like creativity and openness that you can kind of play with. So when I got my hands on the book, I couldn't put the fucking thing down.
I noticed something. I'm going through images on the side screen for the video, looking at things, and one of the books has Vault 95 on it. There be two different ones, or two different story arcs?
Not really.
I think 95 the starter kit, or
I think 95 was Yeah, I think 95 was the starter kit. I think you're right about that, and I believe the
That's
one
what
that
it
has
says, yeah.
Vault 111 on it was the full
Players.
expansion of it, full player's guide.
Yeah.
Okay, I just didn't know if there was any kind of significance to that.
They also got a settlement, Wasteland Settlements, or they got a couple of expansions for it now.
The Fallout dice
there's a
set
few.
is awesome.
Oh, dude.
Yep.
Hold up.
They're great dice.
Hold up.
You're going to show them off?
Yeah, I got an image of it right here. The typical Fallout blue, and was it Pit Boy is his name?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, it's just Fallout Boy.
Fallout Boy, okay.
Oh,
and
Fallout Boy,
the bullet marks in the dice for the D6.
Yep.
That's for damage.
I've got a couple of things. So obviously I've got the book itself.
Right.
And hey, you got the same book I got.
Yeah, and it's definitely well loved, a little worn on it. I'm also a 3D printer, so I printed the actual Nuka-Cola bottle. This is my dice. Yeah, this is my dice holder.
I want that. How much?
Actually, DM Wolfe was the first one of my TikTok followers to send me a gift. He made me a collapsible dice tower that I still use.
You do? Nice.
Making me jealous.
Yeah.
I carry D20s everywhere. I have a whole collection, but these are my two bad boys, my steel ones that I keep on my desk.
Nice.
Roll them every morning. How's my day gonna go? Apparently really good.
I got out of doing that because a couple of mine rolled really poorly, like 2 or 3 days in a row, and I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I'm not letting that. Not doing that anymore.
Oh, that's my everyday. I rolled 2 1s this morning, or yesterday morning.
Oh no! So these are.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was just showing. Those are awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. So these are the actual ones. Yep. So this is your critical, your 20. That's the Vault-Tec symbol, and you've got obviously your other numbers. Or sorry, no, that's your critical
fail. No, that's not.
No. So the thing with the 2d20 system, the lower you roll, the better the outcome. Yeah. You always want to roll low. It's kind of the opposite of what everyone is used to.
That's the only time I'll ever roll high.
Probably. It's your luck.
Generally,
that's what we used to tell. That's what you tell everybody. Come on the stream, like, hey, if you just have these dice that suck at D&D, bring them over to Fallout. He'll nail it every time.
Every time,
except for Wigit. Wigit has legendarily bad luck.
Yeah, it's
obscene.
It's terrible.
I've got one for that here in a minute, but yeah. So because it's roll low, the Vault-Tec symbol is your critical success.
Oh, okay.
And then, the 20 is obviously going to be the worst outcome.
Critical fail.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your body part dice that you use for called shots and things like that if you have the appropriate perks or if you do enough damage.
See, my luck is I would do that. I'd be aiming for the head. I'd roll that dice. It'd be the foot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it never fails. Never fails. But then, of course, you have the actual damage. So you've got your typical D6.
Right, which has the bullet marks.
Blank sides.
What's the blank side for?
No damage.
Just no damage.
Okay, just straight 0. Got it.
Yeah, straight 0. If you roll the Fallout Boy face, that is 1 damage plus an effect. So if you have a weapon that, say, causes burn damage or acid damage or something along those lines, it'll inflict that on it as well.
Yeah.
So you basically need those dice to play this game.
Pretty much.
Okay.
There is a conversion in the book for standard D6, but it just makes it that much easier to use already having it there and not having to constantly either have that set off somewhere or flipping back and forth and trying to remember what you've got with whatever the case may be.
Well, we need to do this.
The dice
game.
are
I
nice.
want to play.
The dice are nice. Oh, we have to talk about a collaboration between Weird Chaos and Story Table.
Oh, we can do that. We can do that.
We heard it first. We heard it here first. No, the dice are definitely nice from Modephius, but you don't need them to play. There is a way to play without them, but it is much easier with the dice.
Yeah. Now, I will say this is not something that you need for the game. But my girlfriend, Sarah from Our Dragons, got this for me. And I actually do use it in the game, and my players hate it when I pull this out.
Okay. Right, let's see it. It's a tarot deck.
It is a tarot deck.
Oh no,
it's a Fallout tarot deck.
Yeah, that's definitely showing as a Fallout Tarot deck. So there are audio listeners. That's what he was showing us. That's
and it is entirely Fallout themed. Let me pull some of these out real quick just to kind of show you guys what I'm talking about here. Oh yeah, basically, so you actually have the explanation book, like most tarot card sets have. So, but you have like your steel, page of steel,
so like your dance a little bit there.
Paladins, right? So you've got your paladins, you've got your brotherhood, you've got your knights of the lanterns. So like the railroad.
That's Deacon. That's a picture of Deacon. Yep.
And then like even like the major arcana. So like you've got the Empress, which is the robot from
Saltron bot.
Oh, I hate those things so much. Bot. In 76, I hate those things.
and so literally, so like
hate them in every game.
7 of muskets,
oh, nice laser muskets.
The laser muskets. 9 of synths.
9 of synths.
That's interesting.
So
that's a little weird.
And so it just throws in a nice little extra bit of chaos for my game, because what I'll do is I'll just pull it out. I'll pull like 1 card, 2 cards, whatever, and then I'll just look up what it has for the meaning for it in the book, and then I will extrapolate that and make it into something in the game.
Okay.
That's good GMing right there. That's what that is. Mm-hmm. That's good. So tell me something, because you're raving about this. You obviously love the system. Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
You love Fallout. As far as being a GM, whether it be just in general or as part of the actual play, the Mojave Misfits that I was a part of, what's been your most challenging aspect of that?
So when we're doing the actual play, the hardest part of GMing for that is keeping the story moving. I'm sure you remember, Kilo, we play with a bunch of chaos gremlins.
I remember well. There's a big difference in the stream between when I was there and when Venomous was there, and if we were missing, it was completely
absolute chaos.
Lunacy is all it was. Yeah.
And so it's kind of pointing in that direction without putting up the big freaking like sign, go here, and trying to keep people moving, because they would either get sidetracked with like in-game character conversations, or just like coming up with these insane ideas or whatever else, and like not knowing how to kind of keep things moving.
Right.
So it came down to like direction and pacing. Gotcha. When it comes to like playing in a home game,
right.
It's not being prepared for the level of insanity that some of my players come up with.
Right. Okay. So what I'm hearing is normal stuff for any GM to deal with.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. What was it? Meme I saw a little bit ago is like, I don't know why anybody says that tabletop is hard. All you have to do is say something insane, the DM size, you roll some dice. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really what the whole thing is.
As a player, absolutely. As the DM, it's just, God damn it, not again.
I've DM'd way more games than I ever played in D&D.
Mm-hmm.
I am the forever DM. I've had 1 campaign that I played to completion as a player, and that's it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
If you got 1 under your belt, you're doing good.
Right?
That's 1. Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think of? Okay, so let's talk about Fallout, and of course, I mentioned earlier, Modephius has a lot of other stuff in the 2D20 system, which I love the 2D20 system. Like I said, it's versatile. You can adjust the skills. It makes for great combat and great roleplay together. Mm-hmm. They have some other stuff in there too. They got They got a Lord of the Rings game, all sorts of different things. Now, what would your thoughts be on a 2D20 system, sans politics, as an alternative to things like D&D's D20 system?
I honestly love the 2D20 setup. I love the way that everything works with it, because it kind of gives a bit more versatility to the game. You have a lot of times you get the 1D20, you roll it, and then that's kind of the final outcome. Like you only have that one option. When you're rolling 2D20s, however, it gives a little more wiggle room on how you want to play things. So it gives you a little bit more creative liberty, a little bit more freedom, especially as a storyteller or a dungeon master, running the game. because there's so much gray area between, oh, you roll an 18 to, oh, you rolled a 6 and an 11. How are we going to go about this?
Oh, that sounds something like a booby-trapped door that somebody decided was just going to tamper with the tripwire. That sounds like that sounds familiar to me.
I'm sensing an inside story there.
Yeah, so, we were. Go ahead. You want to tell this one, Wolf? You're the guest. Tell it.
Are we talking about the door in the
when we found the ranger?
We
found the ranger, the camp.
Yeah. Okay. So in our game, we have we had a few different types of players, and my girlfriend, amongst them, has always been kind of the lead chaos monkey, so to speak. She basically created this character that would be the equivalent of like Deadpool in the MCU, right?
Okay,
that's basically what her character was.
She was Harley Quinn with split personality, is what she was.
Living and thriving on chaos. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. Harley Quinn with multiple with a split personality. That's
chaotic
exactly
evil.
It. Lawful chaotic.
Okay.
More often than not. But they found this camp, and there was a vault that they were going into, and they basically thought that the vault was empty, and they were trying to just like gather supplies and just trying to figure out what happened in here. And so her character Rocket just kind of went off on her own and started following the sound of this like banging sound, right? And followed it down to this door. I was like, you find the door and you notice that it's locked, but you hear the banging is coming from inside of it. What do you want to do? Most normal players would be like, you know what? I'm probably going to go and grab my party members and see if we can't figure this out together, kind of thing. At least the rational players. She decided, you know what? No, I'm going to open the door and see what happens. Well, she did, and there was a Brotherhood Paladin in full power armor, minus the helmet, standing over top of her with his hand up and collapsed on top of her.
Oh, oops.
It was a series of bad rolls that led to that.
Yeah, it was just one bad roll after another. Yeah. And essentially what happened is the Brotherhood Paladin had been sent out on a recon mission of some kind to, I forget the exact specifics of it offhand, but he was basically just looking for like pre-world tech. And he walked into this room and the door was booby-trapped, and it started like asphyxiating him by pumping in this gas that was basically just suffocating him to death. And it was just a bad roll on her part that the door opened and it dropped on her because he had just expired.
You know what? I just now figured out why my players absolutely love me being the DM. I made the game too easy for them.
Oh, made the game too easy?
My rolls.
You made it too easy? What do you mean?
The rolls made it way too easy. Apparently, none of my enemies for them could ever hit them. Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. So, yeah.
Oh no, that's fine. We actually, so I actually implemented a rule with this game, and I think Kilo was still there for this. I think I don't remember, but it was basically you had one death. You could come back from death one time, right? And so you would have this kind. Oh, because this was just after you had left. But basically, if you died, you could come back, but there was going to be some kind of consequence for it. There was going to be something that happened. And like we mentioned, up to this point, Rocket had basically split personality, right? And there is reasoning for this, and I could go into it, but there's a lot that I did back on the background. They had found where these essentially big daddies were coming from in the game. These Fallout version of the big daddies.
From BioShock for the uninitiated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, from BioShock. And so they went up to the factory door, and they were trying to figure out how to get in. There was only one entrance. It was locked down tight. They were all arguing and bickering amongst themselves, trying to figure out the best course of action. And so Rocket just goes, well, why don't we just knock on the door and see what happens? Of course, nobody heard her. So she walks up and she knocks she knocks on the door, and instantly 2 turrets pop up out of the ground and just blast her.
Yeah, again, oops.
Yeah. Now, bear in mind, this is my girlfriend, mind you. I'm not playing favorites by any stretch, right?
Can confirm. Never did.
Yeah. She dropped to 1 HP, which was essentially death at this point for her, and had this moment where her 2 personalities merged, and became 1 person.
So normal.
Like the normal for this kind of scenario in a game like this. And ever since then, because of this, we joke that Rocket now has turret syndrome.
Turret syndrome. That's amazing.
PTSD with turrets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Post turret distress.
Yep.
So I gotta ask you. I put this one in the notes, and Wigit said it shouldn't be in there, but I'm gonna ask it anyways because I'm me, and you should expect this from me. What's it like having Kilo as a player at your table?
It's terrible.
I'm gonna surprise you with this one. I'm gonna surprise you with this one.
You're gonna surprise me with this
I
one?
miss having you. I miss having you at the table. You were probably one of. Simply because of the fact that you were a veteran to TTRPGs, you kind of came up with a plan and executed it, and kind of helped keep people on track with it. You were more or less the conscience and guidepost of the party for a long time.
I can see that. Yeah. I can see that.
You were one who just kind of like rolled with the punch and took it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And just kind of kept rolling with it, where everybody else, if I hit them with something like that, it was like, I'm sorry, what the fuck just happened?
I'm just like, no, I love this now.
Yeah, and I love my players to death. They come up with some amazing theories and concepts.
They do.
But a lot of times, because they would be so thrown off by stuff that I would throw at them with it, not remembering that this is Fallout,
right?
It would break like the whole like concentration of the group for like, I don't know, 20 minutes at a time.
Seriously,
they need to make an Elder Scrolls version of this, and if they do, I'm going to have to change my pants.
Yep. Actually, that's my Hey Bethesda. That was my Hey Bethesda this week.
I didn't even look at that. My bad.
So my Hey Bethesda, we'll throw this in here.
Yeah, there we go.
Bethesda, we want a Modephius 2D20 game based on the Elder Scrolls. There it is.
Exactly. I can get behind that 100%.
I would love that.
I'm in fact wearing one of my Elder Scrolls shirts tonight, my Dark Brotherhood. We know.
I see that. We know.
I love that. We know.
I'm wearing my zombie t-shirt.
I was planning on grabbing my Vault-Tec shirt, but can't find it at the moment. There is actually a TTRPG for Elder Scrolls called Delve Bound. It's an unofficial Elder Scrolls game, but we've looked at it a few different times, and it's actually really well done.
Okay, Delve Bound.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. Unofficial Elder Scrolls role-playing game. Okay. Once it wants to load. I have great internet. I don't know what's going on right now. Oh well, when it loads, I'll show it.
There you go. I just sent both of you the link for it.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and continue on with the rest of the show, unless there's another question you want to ask.
Just one more thing. Is there anything that you would like to plug? Socials, future projects, anything that you got coming up?
Oh God, I have been on like a 6-month hiatus from streaming, but I am planning on coming back with another season of the Misfits. We had some things just kind of fell apart on the last season. We didn't quite get to go where we wanted to go with it, so I'm hoping before the end of the year, if I'm lucky, we'll be able to get back into it.
Okay, I got one more question for you.
Sure.
Has Rocket gotten to go to Nuka World yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. We're not there. No Death Claws. Not yet. No Nuka World yet. Okay.
No. We had
it up on the Twitch for a while for subs and stuff. Like if we got to a certain point, we would all get Death Claws that we can ride, and we would go to Nuka World, which is
I would love to have a riding Death Claw.
Yeah. I want to say I set some ridiculous level too, just because um, either it was going to happen and it was going to be phenomenal, or it was going to be a shit show and it would never happen. But I think I said it was something along the lines of like 1,000 subscribers on my Twitch channel.
So there was this rumor that was actually spotlighted in our Discord recently about them creating vehicles, buildable vehicles in Fallout. I think Fallout 76. Similar to how they do shipbuilding in Starfield.
Yeah. So I would love to see that happen, especially in either in 76 or in the whatever Fallout game that they come up with
Fallout
next.
5, yeah.
But there was it Fallout or Fallout 2? Where I want to say it was Fallout 2, because they were the chosen one, had to actually rebuild a Chrysalis Corvega to actually get around. So that is something that they've done in the past, but it's not been like fully customizable, like Starfield level building, obviously, because it was very, very limited at the time with what you could do.
Oh, yeah. Right. I think something like that would be amazing in 76. I mean, it'd have to be some off-road because all the roads are blocked and damaged and destroyed, and it would be amazing. When I was playing Fallout 76 this week, I kept thinking, I want a vehicle, especially when I was running across the entire map to go get fishing. We'll see. I mean, if they do add it, that'd be amazing. Have the ability to build a garage in your camp. But let's get into our play. But Mr. Wolfe, you are welcome. What are you holding? What?
Sorry, I would love to stick around for the rest of it. However, I do have one quick thing to toss your way. I just don't remember which one it was. But because you brought up 76 again, the really nice thing with, well, hey, I'm all for it. I loved playing 76. I think we played it for probably 3 or 4 months on my channel as a community game. But the really cool thing with that particular game is that the devs actually went to West Virginia through the Appalachians, and they were taking all kinds of like pictures and scenery and like trying to like get as much of it as they possibly could as close to the reality of it. Yeah. There's a motel in 76, and I just don't remember which one it is, that if you go to the motel in the game and then you go to West Virginia, it is like step for step, block for block, the exact same layout as the motel in real life.
Just more corrupted and beat up.
Yeah. So it was just a nice little nod to the area that where they were actually producing the game. But that was just kind of some of that clicked in my head when you were mentioning it just now.
By all means.
Oh, yeah.
You are stick around, join in wherever you want. We're going to continue with the rest of the show. And I'm going to start with Kilo going into Starfield because I'm curious. Because last week it was ship.
Yeah, it was only a little ship this week.
Only a little ship this week. Okay.
just tiny. I finished my Razor Leaf. I put it up in the Discord. Yep. I'm really happy with it.
It looks like a full-blown creation from the U.S. Army.
Yeah. Yep. Got the olive drab. Got that drop ship look to it. And I decided, all right, I'm pretty happy with this. And, of course, Metal, friend of the show who did our logos, and who was on with us actually last week.
Voice a little bit last week.
Public on the air, yep. I was like, I'm going to go to the subreddit, Ship and Pilot, and I'm going to post this ship. So I made a fake company because that's like his whole thing, right? Because Ship and Pilot is like car and driver.
Right. So
everybody's doing all this other role play. So I made a fake company called WK Industries as a little nod to us.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't know. Like I see all those other ships. Like they got some beautiful, really well done. I mean, some of this stuff looks like it came just straight out from Bethesda in the game. I'm like, mine's not that great. I'm like, all right, so I'll make it a company that takes old pre-colony war ships and refurbs them into new stuff. And I did a whole thing on it.
That's smart.
You're Ship and Pilot. Yep. So I'm like, it has a reason to look like shit. So
it doesn't though. It's actually pretty cool looking.
It is pretty cool. Well, I went up there and I think it was like within 2 days after I posted it, I was like it was one of the highest upvoted ships on the subreddit, and it's still up there. Like there's a couple of ships that have surpassed me since then, but it did really well. Like it was very well received, so I was very, very proud of that. I'm very happy with it. She fights good, she flies good. It's a nice little class B.
That's more important than the looks, sort of.
Yeah. Well, for me,
it depends.
Yeah. For somebody who obsessively builds ships, it had to look good too.
Hey, my last ship looked like garbage, but it flies well.
It does the job. That's what matters.
Take it just Millennium Falcon style. She might look like a hunk of junk, but she get you there in one piece and back in record time.
Yeah.
Right. That's right.
It's fast.
She is actually quick. I got those Aventech engines on there. It's like,
oh yeah, those will do the trick.
Ooh.
250 speed, like 56% mobility per engine.
Good God.
So, yeah, she's zippy. So, I got back into Watchtower. I did the Watchtower again.
I need to get back into that.
Continued with it. Yeah. Well, I went back into the Ranger quest line. I'm like, I'm going to do Watchtower at the same time. Not that the game gives you much of a choice. 'Cause as soon as you fly anywhere, it's like Watchtower drones all over the place. Went to Hope Town. Went back and met up with Naya, who is the ranger that you rescue, and went up and to see Ron Hope. Especially after like already knowing what this guy's about, he is so severely punchable. And he's the worst, man. He's such a douche. And I went through and I asked him all the questions. I'm like, I'm doing full ranger. Like I am grilling this guy about everything. And every answer, such a throwaway, such a dodge. And even Naya, I know Naya feels that way too. Like we're missing something. I'm like, yeah, fuck you think we're missing something? Yes, absolutely. No. He's obviously dancing around this shit. Oh, but he's part of the council, so we have to show him respect.
BS.
I'm like, whatever. I'm gonna shoot him in the face later, anyways. But
it's wild with that one, going back and playing through that again, and then recognizing how much he dodges. When after you already know what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot like that with a lot of the other quests. I know Wigit will sympathize with this one is the end of Andresia's personal storyline.
Yeah.
It's the same way because you're going through and you're listening to him again and you're like, nah.
Not happening.
Nah, dude. We're not doing this again. It's just horrible. But I tell you what, the final frontier with the turrets on it, right? Because the Watchtower mod, if you missed previously, you haven't played the mod, it allows you to have wingmen. It has your other ships in your fleet you can assign crew to follow you around.
Oh, nice.
And the final frontier is the frontier that I made into this huge fire support ship. And Wigit and I were talking about this last week, how I put nothing but turrets on this thing.
Yeah, which was actually really smart.
It worked out really well because it was taking out enemies about as quick as I was.
I need to remember to do that when I log back into the game. Go back to my support ship and load it up with turrets. Yeah.
So I got on my ship, all I got on the Razor Leaf, the Praying Mantis, all I have are like the main 4 companions and, Cora and Vasco.
No, lucky you.
Yeah. And then
Wolf rolled his eyes, which is how I feel about those two.
Yeah.
I actually downloaded a mod for that one just to shut her up.
Oh, okay. Yep, there is a mod for that. That's true. It's like, yeah, it's I'm about there because I had one. I want to say it was an opening dialogue to a quest line. It was an encounter with a ship in space. I'm blanking on it right now because I'm recording because I'll remember it later.
The curse always happens.
How that goes. The curse always happens. But it's like I'm trying to listen to the people that are actually talking to me who may or may not try to kill me. And all I'm hearing is, I think it was a conversation. It was the conversation between Sam and Sarah where Sarah is like, you shouldn't have Cora on this. Like, Sarah's being a reasonable adult and say that maybe you shouldn't have a child on a ship that's constantly going into battle and into dangerous places or whatever. And Sam, blah, blah, blah. That's all I could hear. I couldn't hear the dude that I was actually trying to talk in the ass. But so So one of the things I used to build my ships, I'm going to shout out to another mod here real quick, is the Owltech mods are really, really cool. I featured them on a previous show before. It's worth checking out. They put a lot of work into the interiors. And it's kind of like Crimson Fleet themed, but some of the interiors are just amazing. The Owltech Troop Bay, I like using that over the armory because it looks like a ready room for soldiers. So it's right there between my airlock and my landing bay. So you drop down in there, and it's got, I don't know, probably like 12, 14 mannequins in there lining the walls, all these cubbies. A spot for the helmet, a spot for your equipment. So you can just kind of line everything up. It's so nice. Because I like holding on to a lot of my stuff. Like I have the extra mantis suit that I got from that mod.
Decorations.
Yeah, exactly. It looks, it looks cool. Looks lived in, So, plus it's got equipment storage, which is all nice simply because I have so little storage on the Razor Leaf. That's the one thing I got to work on. But right now I'm just I just arrived back in Neon, and I'm getting ready to go see the Ranger on Neon and continue that quest line.
I think it's prudent actually to finish Watchtower. That's what I'm gonna do when I get back in the game, is just finish it, because I want the maximum fleet size I can get. That way I don't have to worry about space battles when I'm doing everything else in the game.
Yeah,
just let my crew take care of it. I'll go do my business.
I can't imagine, because that one battle I probably came up against. Oh, dude, I don't know. It had to be like maybe, let's say 6, 7 Watchtower ships of different sizes.
I beat you on that one. I had to at least 15.
I know.
Once.
Well, I understand that, but I'm saying in this circumstance where I had one wingman, two ships versus 7.
You beat him though, right?
And we wrapped that shit up in 45 seconds.
Yeah, see, when I took on that huge fleet, I was dead in less than 15.
Right. I'm just saying, like, that it offers definitely an advantage to have
big time. And if you can have your full crew, and especially everyone who loves building ships, which is actually a big community that is really into shipbuilding. I enjoy it most of the time when I have time to sit down and actually do it. Yep. You can, like, I had one of my main character, my sniper, I had an entire 3 or 4 ships that I custom built that were completely badass. Mm-hmm. And I kept thinking, man, I would love to have these in a fleet. So that would
love
be
to be able to use them. Absolutely. I'm thinking about maybe getting the rest of my ships are going to be all little A classes, and just have all these zippy little fighters flying around. I got my big fire sport ship that can really lay down the firepower. I think that's the way I'm going to go with it. Nice. For sure. By the way, on this show, I have not mentioned it yet. On Facebook, Starfield Shipyards, no mods, no salt, still going. I have stepped down as admin. I'm no longer admin of that group. I am just a moderator, but Nick Blake is one of the guys. Yeah, Nick Blake is one of the guys who took over there. They're still doing a great job. They recently had a build challenge called the Wigit.
I saw that.
Where the winning entry was basically a ship that looked like the hard target, because that's Widget's gun of choice.
Love that thing.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff over there. And all no mods. No mods. They're all doing it vanilla. It's really impressive stuff.
Wow.
That's it. That's my week, man.
I went into Fallout 76. I was thinking, I'm going to play Fallout 76 a little bit. Then I'm going to play some Starfield. Get a little bit more variety going on. Maybe some podcast brain fart going on. Oblivion remastered.
Yeah. Oblivion. There you go.
I still got to get back into Doom. Great stress relief. You were not kidding about that.
Yeah.
And
Doom Dark.
But when I got into Fallout 76, I didn't stop. I didn't. It consumed my playtime in the week, other than my other obsession, which isn't even a Bethesda game. But so I got in.
A lot of fishing though.
I did a little bit.
Saw that in the Discord. Yeah.
Yeah. The first thing I logged into, I did a new event that I hadn't seen before called Most Wanted. And there's this little section down south, which is they added to the map recently. It's like a fair or a theme park, a little mini theme park by Nuka-Cola. And there's a section of it where it's like this cardboard, like these wood cutout of an old western town.
Okay.
And there's a wagon in the middle of this town, and there's these cardboard characters that have, not cardboard, but wood characters, 2D, that have little like loot things on them. and safes everywhere. And the whole objective is you got to go rob the town.
Okay.
Load it up into the wagon. And then when you get the wagon load up, you see the wagon get heavier and heavier and heavier as you add more and more loot to it. You have to defend the wagon. Thankfully, I had 4 other people that were like levels 400 plus with me, so I was just sitting there taking pot shots at things while everybody else is getting, melted. It helped me out a lot. I started out at level 14 at the end of the week, or at the start of the week, and I'd say about 300 XP away from hitting 20 finally.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Not bad for a week.
Yeah, it was fun. But I got my favorite gun in the game so far from that as a reward. And it's an old Western 6-shooter called Gunther's Big Iron. It's a 45 caliber 6-shooter, and it wrecks. Okay. It's more powerful than my sniper rifle.
Oh, wow.
It destroys, and I'm absolutely loving it. Yeah, I'm going to put a scope on that bad boy. I've been modding it up as much as I can. Ugh, that's my gun of choice now. The only thing that sucks about it is the reload. It's that old reload chamber where you have to cycle the chamber, bullet in, cycle, chamber, and it takes forever.
Oh, okay.
And I did the Motherload side quest, and I forgot how complicated that quest was.
What is that?
Called the Motherload. And I'm trying to remember what it was right now because my brain just completely blanked. Because I was playing the game this morning, for about 4 hours and did other things. I'm trying to remember what it was because I put in the notes like, I'll remember everything. Nope.
Every time you say that.
Yeah, I know. And it had really good talking points for it too because... Oh, yeah, I remember. Okay, I got it. It's in a town. It's one of the side quests that you do because you can just go through different points in the map and a little side quest will pop up.
Right.
Go investigate this. And you go inside this building and it's this like mining company that has this giant automaton miner they call the Motherload. It's broken down.
Hornwright Industrial.
Yeah, thank you. So you have to go in there and try to figure out how to get access to go down up to the executive suite, basically. And that took forever to remember how to do that. And there's a couple different ways you can actually do it. I wound up actually just getting the ID card directly from one of their execs and got up there and completed the quest. And I got a gun off of it, which was a submachine gun. So I finally got my first machine gun.
Nice.
It's basic, bare bones, not legendary at all, but I'm going to make it legendary. Okay. And that's the whole thing. I'm trying to get away from my sniper, Wolf, because I'm a sniper addict. Any game I play, it's sniper.
Yeah.
Whether it be bows or sniper rifles, it's sniper.
Yeah.
I end up doing the same thing, and I have to really work my way out of that one.
So I'm going to try to go small arms for a while. Because after I got my 6-shooter, it's like I'm feeling like Wild Bill Coyote over here. But
yeah. With that big iron on your hip?
Yep. While looking like a fireman from the 50s.
Well, looking like a fireman. A fireman with a big iron on his hip.
If I can find some, proper attire with the 10-gallon hat and everything, that'd be great.
That'd be dope.
I ran across a beast I don't remember ever seeing when I played a couple of years ago called a honey beast. And it looks like a giant bee.
Those things.
Yeah. A giant bee with no wings and a hive growing out of its ass.
Mm-hmm.
And it was nasty little
massive.
bug. They're massive. And it was fighting 2 ghouls, and I was just running down the road trying to get to my objective. And it was just, I watched them duke it out. When I kept an eye on all their health, and as soon as the ghouls were almost dead, pop dead. I got the XP for it and took out the bee.
The first time I ran across one of those, we were playing it for our community game night, and I'm sure there's a stream of it somewhere on our YouTube channel. But I went back and I was just like, "What the fuck just took me out?" Because I didn't even see it. It was one of those things that just kind of pops up behind you. And so I went back to grab my gear, and it's just sitting there. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
And that's exactly what went through my head. Is like, what the hell kind of hell spawn are you? And my luck played a big effect.
Your luck.
Earlier, when I got off the game today, I did an event by accident where I had to kill a boss monster. It was like one of those sea creatures. I can't name the name of them. It was in the northern map. So I got this coming after me, all its minions. I wind up finally killing it with my 6-shooter. And I'm trying to survive, popping Simpacts like they're candy. And the other guys are coming after me. I take them all out. I go to loot this boss because I usually carry a legendary, right? And the vehicle on the bridge I didn't see that was there exploded. I went back 50 feet the other way, and the boss went the other way somewhere. It took me a solid 10 minutes to find its corpse behind a house.
Oh, man.
And I did something very stupid. I found a really cool camp by a player Biggity Bear 2500. Really awesome camp. It was on the side of a cliff, on top of a giant rock, and it was the best view I've ever seen in the game. So I went and checked it out. It was awesome, and he had a vendor, so I went and saw this awesome combat rifle. 3-star legendary. He only wanted 250 caps for it. I had about 800. I was like, yes! Bought it. Went to go equip it, and realized it was level 50.
Oh.
So I'm going to be hanging on to that for a long time.
Yeah, no kidding.
For quite a while, because I'm not even 20 yet. One of my best moments of the game this week. So I decided I got to try out fishing. It's a big part of the game right now. I want to talk about it. And the place you got to go is literally on the entire other side of the map in the swamp area, which is all high level. Most of the area is like level 40, level 50.
Okay.
So I had to run off the beaten road, and there was this giant legendary Yeti that came across the road in front of me at one point, level 50.
Oof.
That was legendary, so it was a boss. I ran from that after I was sneaking around while pooping myself all the way through. Finally got past him. Booked it all the way across the swamp for like an hour in real life. Finally got there, and I found out fishing.
Nice.
It's very interesting. It's a cool little mini game. It's got a story behind it too, because you got this captain dude who tries to tell you the truth about things and suddenly gets in pain and goes the opposite way with it. There's this swamp thing looking dude there too, doesn't really talk English, and behind them is a giant hermit crab with a ship attached to his ass. So
wow.
Yeah, and one of the things you got to do
a lot
is when you catch your fish, you cook them into fish bits. You take those fish bits, you can either cook it in your recipes for your food, or you can put it in this giant trough for this giant hermit crab, who will then spit out some kind of item for you to make room in its stomach. Randomly,
nice.
Mind you, randomly.
Okay.
One time I got a power armor arm. I hung on to it because I'm going to use power armor at some point.
Yeah.
And I'm convinced this giant hermit crab is somehow psychically controlling the other 2 clowns to get him food.
That's hilarious.
That would track with Fallout, actually.
Yeah.
That would 100% on brand.
I haven't seen the whole story, but I can put 2 and 2 together, or 3 and 3, depending on how you look at it. But the fishing game itself is really interesting because you don't control how far you cast. You just go up to the water, hit fish, and you have your rod right there, and you just hit cast, and you just do a little plop into the water, and you wait. And the bobber's going up and down, and as soon as it goes underneath the water, you hit reel. And when that happens, a little radar screen pops up.
Okay.
That has a fish indicator, and you're down at the middle of it, and you have the radar tab. And you gotta just match that up with the fish until you reel it all the way in. And if it goes all the way off the radar screen, you lose it, which happened to me many, many, many times. The first 3 fish were super easy. It was the first part of the quest. They did it on purpose so you can learn how to fish, right? Then I found out that it takes actually a little bit of skill, and you have to learn how to predict the fish. And there's fish that are way, way more strong than my current rod setup will work. And they have the rod set up to where you can upgrade it and modify it. The hook, the reel, the actual rod itself, different various factors, different types of bait.
Okay.
And all different kinds of fish and legendary fish that can only be found at certain times of the day, at certain weather events, in certain areas. And apparently if you get glowing fish and feed them to the giant hermit crab of doom, that psychic hermit crab, he'll give you some better items. And I have, with my luck, I'm not going to ever find them. But I'm trying.
Someone in our Discord did find a glowing one. Who was that?
channel. Oh, Nixter. It wasn't really glowing, I don't think. It was a electrified.
You want to go back and play Fallout
Sawgill.
76 again?
Yeah, it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And the graphics still hold up. I'm absolutely digging this game so much again. And you get to do dailies, and as you do these dailies, you got to go catch 7 fish at some random location in the world. Luckily, my daily today was right at the Fisherman's Wharf, so I just had to sit there and catch 7 fish. But the first daily I did the day before, I had to run all the way to the southern end of the swamps to do it, and fight off everything I could on the way, trying not to die. And then as I was fishing, one of those giant crabs, the Merc something.
Mirelurk?
Yeah, Mirelurks.
Mirelurk, yeah.
Yeah. Came out of nowhere, level 25, and tried to eat my face while I was fishing.
I thought fishing was supposed to be relaxing.
Actually, it is strangely relaxing.
I will say that is one of the mini games in most like games that I just can't stand, is going to the fishing games.
See, I used to say the same thing, and the only game that I've ever like really spent a lot of time fishing, trying to get the achievements, trying to get the better fish and all that was Red Dead 2. That was the only game I've really dove into the fishing of. But
yeah,
I don't know. This one sounds pretty fun.
It does. It actually sounds a lot more fun than a lot of the other ones I've played.
I got a plan to upgrade my rod or my reel. So I got a Mark 1 reel going on, and I got the fancy hook going on, which does make a big difference. And I spent probably 2 hours looking for enough aluminum to make a tinker bench to put it in my camp.
Tinker bitch.
That's
like the Wish version of Tinkerbell.
Couldn't find aluminum anywhere. And then I finished up by meeting Rose. Rose is the Miss Handy Raider. She's psycho. Crazy.
She's Miss Handy. She's a raider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bent on murder and death, and yeah. You have to do part of the main quest. You got to go help her, and yeah, it's crazy.
That sounds amazing.
I'm doing experimental ways of killing people right now for her.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, she sends you on a bunch of fetch quests and things, and experimenting on different ways to kill people, and dear God, she's just nuts.
Yeah. I'm not going to go any further on that because we're really, really low on time, and I want to get to some of these news articles. So we're going to dive in on that really quick.
Yeah. The one I want to bring up, I actually found this on a group on Facebook called Fallout with a registered trademark sign at the end of it. So Fallout and the little circle R. And I say that because the person who posted this, I believe, is on YouTube as the Wasteland Architect. Don't quote me, but his handle in the group is Robert House. And this dude built Rivet City from Fallout 3 in Fallout 4.
That had to take forever.
Dude,
look for it on YouTube. It is amazing. He's got the marketplace. He's got the deck. He's got the hotel. He's got it's like almost piece to piece of Rivet City in Fallout 3. It's insane, is what it is. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. So that was really cool. The other thing that happened big this week that does apply to not only Fallout, Bethesda, but other players is that Nexus Mods has been sold.
I heard about that.
Yes.
As of the last I looked, we don't know who it was sold to, but this thing was up and running for 24 years, and
has a lot of network traffic and a lot of usage. I'm not surprised. It's probably sold for a decent amount too.
I imagine. So again, at this time I don't have any other details about this. I'm sure more news will come out about the future of Nexus Mods in the going forward. Let's see. This one's pretty good. A Skyrim player has put their body on the line and proved High Hrothgar's 7,000 steps are actually just 3,600, but it still took 45 minutes to climb. Now, apparently, if you actually go in and count, there's actually only 764 steps in the actual game. But what this guy did was basically hook a stair climber to the game so that it sensed his movements and then he moved forward with it, and it took him apparently 3,600 steps to make the 7,000 steps.
Let's get into this one really quick. I'm really interested in this one. When you said there is no confirmation release date of any kind of Elder Scrolls 6 or Fallout 5,
yep.
I want to go on record saying that Bethesda has already been on record saying that Fallout 5 will come out after Elder Scrolls 6. They have a very set timeline. Mm-hmm.
Which is about all we know.
That's it.
And the one thing that I've seen, a lot of people have been posting about it. I've seen in a lot of articles, because I kind of dug into this a little bit this week. A lot of people are saying Elder Scrolls 6 2026.
Yep.
That has not been confirmed by Bethesda.
It's not confirmed, but it goes with their track record. And there was a guy on Reddit who did a whole entire thesis on this. And a lot of what he said made a lot of sense. In the fact that Bethesda, throughout their entire history so far, has released a new major title every 3 to 4 years from its previous. Mm-hmm. It's not Doom or those side titles, but their major title, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, things like that, Starfield included. And we are going to be at the 3-year mark with Starfield as of next year. And because of the hype and everything that's going on with it and how long Elder Scrolls 6 has been in development, a lot of people are convinced we're going to be getting it in 2026. And like usual with Bethesda, they're not going to say jack shit until probably like the week prior. Oh yeah, we're going to be releasing it on this date. Oh wait, that's 7 days away.
Right. Yeah, we'll get another instead of the Oblivion remastered 4, we'll have a 6 up on Instagram, and then everybody's going to be flipping out about it.
Yeah.
But again, this is all just, nobody has said for sure. The only thing Todd Howard himself has said is that he is, because one of the things I was going around is like people thought that, oh, well, maybe Fallout 5 will come out before Elder Scrolls 6, which first of all, I don't believe that's going to happen.
They've already said
and
it
the
won't.
only thing Todd, and the only thing Todd Howard had to say about Fallout 5 is that it is in production and he is, quote, not in a rush to get it out.
Yeah.
Even with the popularity of the Fallout TV show, which is what kind of sparked that rumor.
And they're going to need to get it. They're going to need to do perfect on this game. With the hype around it, it's got to be good, or they're going to get so much flack. And they need Elder Scrolls 6 out. A lot of us, I'm a huge Elder Scrolls fan. I am chomping at the bit to play this game. It's going to give us months and months and months of content for this show when it does.
That is also true.
That's what I'm going to be doing for most of it. One last thing I want to bring up, because I'm curious about Wolf's opinion on this. There's a Fallout 2 remake that has been announced. Mm-hmm. It is done by over 100 different modders in a group aiming to turn Fallout 2 into an open-world RPG using Fallout 4's engine. And they want to release it on Steam as a standalone title. There are some legal issues they're going to have to figure out before they can, but Fallout 2 was not made by Bethesda.
No, it was not.
It was Interplay.
Yeah, so they've got wiggle room for this. Now, there's a lot of speculation around this because most, if not all, fan-made remakes tend to never release.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your thoughts on that? Is that something that they think they should do, or?
I would be interested to see how they're able to keep the spirit of the game with remaking it into the new engine. I would actually really love to see both of the original games redone in that manner and really kind of bring it to a new generation of players. The problem that I always had with Fallout and Fallout 2 was that the controls are not intuitive for a lot of people. It's an older generation, it's an older style of gameplay, and so it makes for a little bit harder for fans of the series to go back if they're not familiar with that kind of style of gameplay and really kind of grasp the story of what's going on with it.
It's a 2D top-down style game, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
So turning that into an open-world RPG, that's a lot of rework.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be done. I mean, there's definitely assets and things that they can use. There's definitely ways to make it into that. How even keeping with like the original audio and everything else from the game as it was, I would be hyped to see this happen. I have been following that story for a little while because it's been rumored for, I want to say, a little over a year that somebody has been working on this.
Officially announced like a week ago.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's all I'm saying. Rumored for like the better part of the last year that somebody's been working on something along those lines. So if they were to actually release that as a Steam game, I would be all for it, and I will be the first one streaming that shit.
well, they're going to have to work out royalty rights with Bethesda because Bethesda owns the rights to Fallout. So they cannot release a game on a standalone, call it Fallout 2, and not have a royalty right with Bethesda. That's going to happen.
Yeah, and that's really where the biggest issue is going to be with that. Just even though Interplay is the one that originally created it, you're right that they actually own the rights to it now. So that's definitely going to cause some headaches. But if they can get around that, it could be a phenomenal game.
Right. I think the way to go with that one is going to be to play ball with Bethesda.
Yeah.
Because if Bethesda thinks a remaster is going to make money, how many times have any of us bought Skyrim? Because I've bought it at least 4 times.
I've lost count. I've lost count.
And I want to get back into that game too, so bad.
Hey, you're finally awake.
Really quick, before we end the show. He was continuing something there.
He's counting how many times he's blessed.
Right, got it.
About 6 different times I think that I've bought that
game. I want to get into your mod really quick before we call it.
Yeah, I got to talk about this real quick. Nixter 3000 posted this in our Discord, and it looks really cool. It's called Everbright by Almighty SE, and it is 600 credits. And I saw the trailer for this, so you can look up Everbright, and of course the creator is Almighty SE. He's on YouTube, same name. And it is basically like this. It appears to be some kind of cult storyline. It looks pretty exciting. It looks pretty interesting. And my inner true crime nerd is very interested in this. So
all right, fair enough.
Check that out on Bethesda.net. I don't even know what the status of Nexus Mods is. I assume it's still up and running.
It's still up and running. I'm looking at it right now, actually.
Okay, there we go. So I'm never on Nexus Mod, so I'm
going to try to premiere the video version of this episode on YouTube, on our channel, Weird Chaos Media. Probably Friday, sometime in the evening. Try 8 p.m. and see if I can get... Because I don't know video editing very well, so I'm going to take my hand out a little bit, at least to make an intro. I will have our Linktree information down below for the ones watching video, and we're going to talk about our Linktree information right now on the air. And that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, DM Wolfe. Really appreciate you. Yeah. We got to get you back on.
Great having
you guys for having me. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so that's it. Have a fantastic week in the Bethesda universe, everybody. Or the Bethesdaverse.
The Bethesdaverse. Peace out.
Later.